The internet is full of content about what makes somebody a billionaire, what you have to do to be successful, and how, if you get up at 5 a.m., you can start the day with a paperclip and end the day with a Ferrari. Unfortunately, I don't know how to do that. So I don't have a Ferrari, and you're not going to get that sort of thing here today. What I am going to do is tell you what things successful entrepreneurs don't do. And the reason I'm going to talk about that is I find it easier to cut things out than put things in. It's easier for me to not do something than to do something. And I find looking at things from a different angle can sometimes be super valuable. Just before we get into that, this is a new channel. The idea of this channel is for us to share content with you about entrepreneurship, careers, startups, goals, motivation, that sort of thing. In order to do that, we need subscribers. So if you haven't already, then please subscribe to this channel. It helps more than you know. Thank you. What are the 5 things the successful entrepreneurs do not do? Number 1, they don't wait. So many people talk about the right timing, the right circumstances, the right market conditions. What they are really doing is delaying action. But successful people don't wait. They just do the thing and they let everybody else catch up. Apple are famous for removing cables and getting rid of ports long before anybody asked them to do so. This has been known to create a situation where you might not know where to put your floppy disk. But without this do it now and let them catch up attitude, we wouldn't have things like the mouse, the CD-ROM, the USB stick, or even the cloud. Successful people understand that there is no such thing as the perfect time, but there's usually no good reason for delay. So they just start, they just get going. They do not wait. If you wait until you're ready, you've probably waited too long. Number 2, successful entrepreneurs do not take the easy route. I mean this in anything really. Successful people don't take the easy route. I mean, have a look at a bunch of famous, successful billionaires, millionaires, business people, whoever you like. They're usually fit. They usually spend their spare time climbing mountains or working out at the crack of dawn. And they're either reading or writing one book or another. I'm pretty sure your typical billionaire isn't binge watching Netflix and demolishing curly whirlies at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Success comes hand in hand with discipline. It also goes hand in hand with choosing the more difficult path, the harder thing, the friction, if you believe it to be the right course of action. You often hear about people like Musk and Jobs and all sorts of others being difficult to work with. But in my view, that's them not willing to settle for something that they believe is less than what they're capable of achieving or what their team is capable of achieving. They might push back on stuff that's good in the pursuit of great. Being an entrepreneur isn't about being best friends with everyone you work with. Sure, you need to create good relationships, but you also need to set the standard high. And really successful people set that bar really high because they don't take the easy route. Number 3, they don't do it all themselves. When you start a business, you are the CEO, the cleaner, the mascot, the salesperson, the customer service team. You're doing all of it. As you grow, you may very well bring in some employees. As you do this, you could fall into the trap of using those employees to assist you in continuing to do the things that you're doing before. That's a mistake. Amazon have more than 1 million staff. Jeff Bezos is never going to speak to 99.9% of the people who work there. They're not there to assist him. Amazon have broken the functions of the business down into 1 million tiny little pieces, and what they do is they allow individual ownership by their employees of each of those tiny little pieces. Delegation is must. Allowing your people to take ownership of their small part of the business is critical if you want to expand the business beyond yourself. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about letting people run wild. You need to have processes, targets, and controls in place to make sure that the leadership is still in control of the business. Think of it this way. You might be able to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week on your business. Let's say 40. That means you have 40 hours a week. Now, if you go and hire 10 people and give them ownership, suddenly you have 440 hours a week. If you limit the business to things that have to go through you, then you're setting a very low ceiling for what your enterprise is capable of. You also have to be honest with yourself about what it is that you need to do. I've seen founders so obsessed with things being done their way that they're sweeping the steps outside the front of the premises when they could be doing any one of 10 far more valuable things for the business. Be honest with yourself. What are the 1 or 2 things that you're really good at that makes a strategic difference to your company? Concentrate on those things and fire/replace yourself from every other role. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg was not the best coder at Facebook. Great people don't do it themselves. They build great teams and go on a journey together. Number 4, ignore the risks. or hope for the best. Great people do not ignore the risks or hope for the best. Instead, they go looking for the risks. They anticipate the things that could go wrong and protect from the downside. So many small and medium business owners put so much of themselves into growing their company that when they start to make money, they don't spend any time thinking about what could go wrong. They just want to keep doing more of the same. They don't think about protecting what they've built. You need to look ahead, predict threats to your company, and then spend time coming up with strategies to neutralize those threats. Where are you vulnerable? What are your single points of failure? What are your competitors doing that you should be paying attention to? This point could easily have been that great people and successful entrepreneurs don't shy away from risk. It's true. Anything that you do involves a layer of risk. To be a successful entrepreneur, to be a great entrepreneur, you have to embrace risk, make it part of your strategy, and use it to differentiate yourself from people who don't understand risk. I guess the key thing that I'm saying here is don't shut your mind to risk. Make sure it's open. Don't assume everything will be okay. Assume everything won't be okay until you've 100% proven to yourself that you have a plan in place in the event that it goes wrong. Number 5, great business people, great entrepreneurs, successful people, they don't quit. They don't give up. They don't accept failure. I think there's a common misconception that successful people just got there overnight, that they kind of just woke up one day and their company took off and they started doing well and everything was great and they became rich and famous and everything was brilliant. The truth is very different from that. In my experience, people who achieve success and build financial wealth have endured an incredible amount of pain, heartache, failure, and suffering to get there. The cost of that success isn't just pain, isn't just hours and time, it's relationships, it's health, it's soul, it's everything that you can think of that somebody might have to give in pursuit of something that they believe in. Being an entrepreneur, an aspiring leader is really hard. You have to endure. You have to go on when people around you, relationships, friends, family are telling you that maybe you should stop. Maybe you should do something more normal. Go and get a job at this company. So-and-so does this. Why can't you? You have to bite down when it gets really tough. Pick yourself up off the floor again and again. You have to keep believing. I've listed 5 things, but really it could have been one. This sense of you don't quit, you don't give up is the number one ingredient for success in business, in sport, in life. You'll never meet a successful person who gave up. I saw a really good quote from Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb, who said that their overnight success took 1,000 nights. I think that's powerful. You hear about the success after the success. Remember that a lot went into that before you ever heard of the company or the person. People who achieve do so because they just don't quit. So there you have it. Those are my 5 things that successful people and entrepreneurs do not do. Hopefully it was useful for you. Hopefully it made you think. I'll see you next time.